Hi, I'm Zenobia Shroff. Welcome to a very special episode of Power of X-Men. I hope you watch.
Very special episode of the podcast today. Who do we have?
I literally can't believe that I'm about to say this because I have been dying for this. You have been dying for this. We love the Marvels. We love Ms. Marvel. Today we are talking with Zenobia Shroff, aka Muniba Khan, Kamala Khan's mother, the incredible, the one and only. This is mind-blowing stuff.
She is such an icon. She was, the breakout star of the Marvels, in my opinion. I loved her. She's so magnetic and kinetic on screen. How could you not want to just see her?
She is a legend. She is a queen. She is the mother of the mother-tuckin' Marvel universe at this point.
Oh my god.
All of our mothers.
In the interview that the family at home is about to listen to, I'm like, Queen, can I call you Queen? And she just shakes her hair. She's like, you're so sweet. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like gushing.
I could gush all day. She's incredible. She was incredible in the film. She's just as incredible in person. What an opportunity this was. I know everyone is going to love listening to it just as much as we love talking to her. Truly, when we call this a very special episode, we mean it this time, okay? This isn't just us ranting about toys. This is Zenobia Shroff.
Yeah, and it's worth noting that in this episode, we talk all about her audition process for Ms. Marvel, going on set on the Marvels. We talk about, we do hit some hard topics about grief here. We talk about everything in the Marvel universe. We do ask about a season 2. You know, we will let you guys listen to the episode. Fingers crossed, of course. And we get some nice little nuggets of scenes that could have happened with her. This is such a beautiful, wonderful episode, and I love it so much.
I absolutely adore this episode. I adore her. Y'all are going to have so much fun with this one.
Oh my god, Zenobia, we are such stans! Welcome to Power of X-Men!
I can't believe that you are. It's amazing.
Muniba Khan is the mother of the MCU. How could we not be thrilled to have you here?
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Are the star of Ms. Marvel. You're the star of the Marvels. We are just overjoyed to have you here with us today.
I don't know if everybody would be happy to hear that.
Well, they should be.
It's very kind of you to. Oh, you're sweet. I had no idea I had gay fans. I really didn't. I just thought, really? Is there a community? I'd love to connect. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
What we should do? A Facebook or an Instagram live, because predominantly
absolutely
our familia, we call them the familia here at Power of X-Men, is LGBTQIA+. And the second we announced that you were going to be on, the amount of DMs that came in
exploded.
Oh my god, that's so cool. Because I really believe very strongly that without the fans, we're nothing. Yeah. And I try and make it a point to respond to each and every on Twitter, on Instagram, at least hit the heart button, unless you're inappropriate or hate. Hate and inappropriate, mama axes you.
Yeah.
But other
Nobody
than
has time for that.
Exactly. But other than that, I really, really like connecting with the fans, because I think that in the end, it's the fans. Without you, where are we? We're nowhere. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're nowhere.
Oh my gosh. I love you so much. I'm sorry.
It's so heartwarming.
All we can
are
say
you
here
New
is
Yorkers?
yes.
I'm
in New York. I'm in Miami now, but I'm in New York.
I'm a Texan, so.
Okay, all right. But you're New Yorkers by
Yeah.
living. So when I get back, we'll have coffee and hug.
Oh my
I'm
God,
coming.
yes,
I I will
please.
I will fly in from Texas just for that.
Oh, you're sweet. You're sweet.
No.
The Marvels is out on digital now. I mean, we've already downloaded it, we've rewatched it, we love it, but they just announced yesterday that it is coming to Disney Plus on February
Yes,
7th. So
I saw that.
this is absolutely the perfect time for this interview. We couldn't be more
Yes,
excited. I mean,
yes.
I just have to say that, Muniba is one of my favorite characters in the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe because, I
Oh,
mean, she brings a lot of love and light to that universe, which is, it's a fictional
mm-hmm.
world, but it's full of horrible disasters and supervillains. And
Yes.
someone like Muniba, she's just so important because she brings something grounding. She brings a lot of love to it, and
Mm-hmm.
that's why the gay fans love you. That's why everybody loves you.
Oh,
I mean, you're a highlight of that series, and
oh.
we're just
I'm the
like
new
I
gay mama.
yes, please, yes. We'll take that. We'll absolutely take that. I mean, we like I said, we're just so thrilled that you're here, and thank you
Thank
for making
you.
the time for us.
Of course, of course.
So we have to talk about that post-credit scene because we are predominantly an X-Men podcast. Beast from the X-Men was in that post-credit scene.
Mm-hmm.
When did you find out about this?
So, I was reading you guys' questions that you had sent because, I like to prepare. And then I thought, these guys are going to think this woman knows nothing because I'll be honest, I'm not a Marvel comic book nerd. I don't like to
Yeah,
label, but I'm not
yeah.
that girl. I
Yeah.
come from Ibsen and Chekhov and Shakespeare. And so I want to say, and please, I could be wrong, but I don't think my script, my original script, which they're very particular about who gets it and how much you get and all of that. But we also to remember we shot it 2 years ago, now three, 21 we shot it.
Yeah.
So at that time, I don't believe, and I could be wrong, but I don't believe that's how it ended. And that's the thing with Marvel, the creative process continues a lot. Then sometimes you add additional photography, which we had, and they'll tinker with it a lot.
Yeah.
And so I know that it's not the answer you want, but I'm saying I'm you want me to have all the Marvel knowledge, but
No.
uh, but I'm going with no. I don't think
Yeah.
Beast was
Yeah.
there in the script I got. So that
Okay.
was after I finished, after I did reshoots and additional photography. Our boss Kevin and likes to tinker and get it just right, as you know, he's quite the genius at pulling that thread
Mhm.
and building the franchise. And so I want to say that Beast came after I knew about it, and but I will say that when I saw it, the whole and Beast came on, the entire audience
Oh yeah.
Oh,
gasped.
I
Oh yeah.
know. My
Yeah,
audience
yeah.
too. I saw it when we were in Pittsburgh, and our
Oh,
entire
okay.
audience, like someone had popcorn, went ooh like that, and
Ah,
it makes it so worth it.
I had my friend next to me and I started going, "Oh my, it's Beast.
oh
It's
my, it's
Beast,"
Beast. It's
because
Beast.
she's also
Yes.
such a huge Kelsey Grammer fan. So like just seeing him return to the
Okay.
role after almost 18
Right.
years away from it,
Is that
everybody
right?
was just so excited.
Wait, can I pull
Yeah.
on a
Yeah.
thread really quickly? You said you were a
Well,
big Shakespeare fan?
I wouldn't say I was a big Shakespeare fan, but I would say that when I came to New York in 1989, and at the time, this is pre-globalization, internet. We had
Yeah,
nothing. We were door to
yeah.
doorers. We went door to door with your dramatic picture, your commercial picture, and your
Yes.
sexy picture, and all this nonsense. And you had to do two monologues at every audition. One was a Shakespearean one, and one was a contemporary.
Mhm.
And I grew up in post-colonial India, right here in this bedroom. Um, and Shakespeare was part of our schooling. I studied Julius Caesar, and then I did for tons of audition. I did Portia for the first 5 6 years of my life in America. My classical monologue was Portia from Julius Caesar, which I still remember. Upon
Wow.
my knees, I'll charm you by my once commended beauty. Da 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 da.
I
Oh my
love.
Yeah,
I think this is the
yeah.
first time we've quoted Shakespeare on this podcast. I love it.
Well, because the reason why I asked is because one, we love Shakespeare here, obviously, but two,
Mm.
Beast is also a big Shakespeare fan, so you can
Yeah,
so
yeah.
mom can give him a run for his money.
Money. When they, and I'll be honest, I'm like, Beast who? What's Beast?
I
Which
I'm
mean,
is
that
fine.
which
girl.
is fine. We don't
Yeah,
like Beast here,
yeah.
so it's fine.
Uh,
I was like, of all the
so
X-Men, Beast, and I like slapped the person
right.
next to me. I'm just
Oh
joking.
my gosh. But you knew what? But I think we had some clue about the X-Men thing because of Miss Marvel. Isn't
Mm-hmm.
that
Yes.
correct?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah.
So I'm learning this world and I'm enjoying it thoroughly because I've done this for 35 years and everybody needs a shot in the arm. And Marvel has really been my shot in the arm because, like I said, I did Ibsen and Chekhov, and I was a serious dramatic
Yeah.
actor. And suddenly, they're like, do you mind getting strapped in a harness? I'm like, let's go, baby.
Let's do it.
Wait, I saw a video of you on YouTube where what was it called? Exotic observations that you did for
That
an hour.
is correct.
Would that be part of your exotic observation, being strapped on a harness? I
No,
forgot what art
no.
show did you do it for? You did it for an art show. I'm forgetting.
So to answer both the
Yeah.
questions, the harness scene was cut.
Mm.
I was in a harness and I did fly. And that was during the Flurkin sequence, I suppose you call it.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. It was a highlight. It was my last day on set and last day of principal photography for me. And so they had some serious training because they have to cover all their bases.
Yeah.
But I've been a lifelong dancer and I'm a yogi, so I'm like, I can do this. They're like, but you're old. They didn't say that, but they were thinking Mama wants to go in a harness. I'm like, yes, Mama does.
Of
Put me in the
course.
deck.
If you're
Yeah,
in a Marvel movie, of course you want to be in the harness and
of
flying across the
course.
room.
So there was a little training. I had to go, and they were like, "Are you sure? Is it secure?" I'm like, "It's extremely secure. Trust me. Just hit the damn button." But I will tell you, when they hit the button, you're just like 0 to 60. But I had fun, but they cut it.
Rude.
So they cut. No, it mustn't have fitted. And there's another spoiler, which I'm gonna drop this little nugget for you guys at the end because I know that you guys have been very keen about the deleted yoga scene.
Yes.
But I'm going to tell you about another scene of mine that was deleted.
Oh, I can't
Uh-oh.
wait. I can't
And
wait.
for me, I was so hopeful they put that in because it kind of became my favorite scene. I'll tell you about it a little later.
Sure.
I'm
Stop
gonna
it.
keep you guys.
See, for folks at home who are not watching this on YouTube, Flink and I just went the gay gasp, like like this. She has an X cheat. She has an X cheat. She's gonna be an X Man.
uh, oh yeah.
But
So
to just
also to answer the
yeah,
next question
yeah,
about Iman and the
yeah,
mutant you
yeah.
asked, I want to say, and again, I could be wrong. Again, now remember, this was 21 when we
Mm,
finished shooting Miss Marvel. I think that ending was changed, and then she got the mutant power.
okay.
But I don't know.
Mm.
I tried to look up the old scripts, but it's on a very restricted server, so I wasn't able to do it because
Does
they're
They
Marvel
like,
won't
have
"You're
let
a
you
restrict?
back
done.
in.
You're done now with this. We're not showing you this
They
script again."
they
Kevin
changed the
Feige's like,
laws.
no. Kevin Feige's like, sorry, mom. BRB.
But maybe if she is, I am. I don't know.
You could be, could be. It is a genetic
Could be,
thing.
could be. It is. It
Maybe
is.
we'll get you in What If season 3. What if Maniba Khan
Ah,
was a
I,
mutant?
Stop
right,
it.
right.
So, the X-Men, the mutants whole thing is they have, a school for mutant. Professor Xavier brings them in, he trains them, and they graduate to the X-Men team. Do we think that Muniba is going to allow Kamala to enroll at Professor X's school for mutants?
Very good question. So I think that if you obviously have seen, it's silly to ask you. So in the beginning of Miss Marvel, Muniba is very resistant to the powers that
Yeah,
she thinks she doesn't want it to have anything to do with the bangle, and she keeps calling, her mother crazy. And the arc is very beautiful, and I'm very grateful that writers wrote me such a beautiful arc. And finally, in the we call it a dhobi ghat in Urdu, and it's the laundromat where she sees that you are light girl, and she sees this kid sort of, you know, going up the wall, and she makes peace with it.
yeah,
As you can see in the Marvels, she makes peace with the fact that, yes, my daughter is gifted. My mother wasn't out of her mind. And I think that is evident in the Marvels too. She says, go, you have a gift, you have a special power.
yeah,
Go do what you need to do, and I'll always be here. So I think Muniba has come around and she's on board. Now, Kamala still has to graduate. So if we get a season two, I'm looking forward to seeing those conflicts. You have to, graduate. You can't go training to be a mutant.
yeah,
And Iman has said the same thing, and I agree with her that it would be nice to continue to see the growth of Kamala as a teenager. Also, maybe she likes a boy, or maybe she goes to prom, or and how is Muniba going to deal with all that will be very interesting to see. But I
definitely.
think that Muniba has realized, okay, this kid is kind of gifted. So much as she doesn't want her to go, um, which she says, if you realize in the
Yeah,
Marvels, right, when she's
yeah.
about to go, which by the way, I thought I was terrible in that scene, but that's okay.
No, not at
No, sorry,
all.
not your
No,
audience here. We're gonna be like, yes,
okay,
We're
your
gonna
hair
build
looked
you up all
great,
morning.
your acting was great, your
no.
hair was great.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, it was much longer. I cut it off because Muniba that it had been balayaged and it was a little damaged. But no, I thought I overacted that, and which is the only reason I watch me. I don't like watching me, but I watch to see what I could have done better. But in any case, yeah, so I think Muniba's on board now. So, I mean, for God's sake, she fought a little in her own house. So,
Oh,
yeah, she's on board. She's on board. But, going to training to, as you explained, Xavier and this, there's probably going to be some conflicts, of course. If there's no conflict, then what's the fun with a teenager?
I just have to say, I want to see Muniba telling off Professor X, like, you better take care of my daughter. You better not let her get into any trouble.
I don't see it not happening. I mean, she, for God's sake, still said to Captain Marvel, "मैं उसकी जान ले लूंगी," which means I will kill her if she does anything to you.
That
And
scene.
I came up with that line, and Nia's like, "Yep, say it." I'm like, "Are you sure? I mean, this is Captain Marvel, for God's sakes,
It-
Nobody f's with her, but she's like, "No, no, 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 say it." And yeah, so we said it.
I mean, when it comes to
um,
Kamala, I think Muniba could take Carol. I mean, to protect her daughter, I think Muniba could do anything.
Very protective.
But it's
Yes.
that protective nature is why you have such strong LGBTQIA plus fans like myself and
Oh,
Flink, and
thank
that's
you.
Yeah,
and that's you can talk about your acting and each scene, but there's something that radiates inside of you, and that translates to the audience. And not only do
Oh,
we
thank
do we
you.
sense that protective nature that you are as a human, but also you're just fabulous, and you were so fun to
Oh, you're
watch, and that's.
sweet. Oh,
fun.
thank you.
Yes.
But anyways, we can be
Thank you.
gushing nonstop, but
Uh,
to finish this portion, because we have to ask about the
yeah,
X-Men, because everyone's going to ask, how excited do you think fans should be for the X-Men given what the Marvels has set up? And I know that's you can only give us a morsel of anything you may or may not know.
I know nothing. I promise you, I know nothing. It's above my pay grade, and uh, I I I only know what I am contracted for, but I know nothing. So when Mr. Feige calls, I get on a plane. Yeah.
As you should,
As you
as
should.
any one of us would.
As I will, as I will, as I will.
Oh, wonderful.
So sort of, diving into your history, getting on board this project. Did you have any familiarity with the character of Ms. Marvel before you accepted this role?
None at all.
Not at all.
None at all. I never heard of it. I'm not a comic book reader. I was when I was young and growing up here because there was no TV, there was a radio, and then there was TV when I was in 10th grade. So we grew up, but I grew up watching a lot of reading a lot of Archie comics and Dilton Doily and Little Lotta. I think the Phantom was the one that people who had a darker sensibility went toward.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
my sensibility has always been a little unicorn and fairies. So I stuck with Archie, and everybody thought that I was really a. Have you read Archie comics?
Yes.
Have
Well,
Oh
you?
my
yes.
next question was going to
Yes,
be Betty or Veronica. You're totally a
correct.
Veronica. You're such a Veronica. Do not lie to
And
us.
I ah. So this is what I'm saying. Everybody thinks I'm Veronica Lodge, right? But deep down in my heart, I'm so effing sorry,
Yeah, you can curse.
Betty
Don't worry.
Cooper. I'm Betty Cooper. I'm a very, very, I'm a good girl.
You're the good girl
So
next door.
right. So my personality can be outrageous and also, I'm a New Yorker, so I don't take too much guff. But I'm a very soft-hearted person. So and kind of a good girl. Yeah. I've
I
never even had a cigarette in my life.
Good. You
really.
shouldn't.
Wow.
Who
Don't.
should?
Don't.
So, what was once you did find out about the project, were you excited for it? Were you like a Muslim superhero? This is groundbreaking. This is what the world needs right now.
Yes, yes, and yes, and yes. So I have been in this business a very long time. So while I never watched Marvel, I knew everything there was to know from a business standpoint and even from a pop culture standpoint. Like I can tell you who's Iron Man, who's the Hulk, who's this.
Yeah.
I know a disgusting amount about pop culture. Like
Same.
I will same, right? I could win any pop culture trivia quiz any day of the week. Like
You
it's
can be on our
crazy.
team.
Absolutely. In LA, actually, when I was shooting The Affair for 2 years, I used to go to pop culture trivia on Wednesday nights with some actor guys I knew there, and I knew everything. So from that standpoint, I knew that Robert Downey was da 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 da,
Yeah.
and I also knew the business potential of the Marvel Universe. I knew that it has been rated as if not the largest entertainment franchise in the world.
Yeah.
So when the audition came through, we were in deep pandemic, pre vaccine pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I realized the impact when I saw the words Marvel.
Hmm.
Uh, and but I was experienced enough to now just do the audition and not think. Right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
do it and then you throw it away. And I was like, that's how you're going to do this. And I also clocked very much, wow, South Asian superhero, Muslim superhero, Pakistani superhero. The world is indeed, changing.
Yeah.
30 years ago, I was told to change my name
Mm.
and get dialect coaching classes and go on my white passing. And so it was a watershed moment for me when I saw that. So I got the impact of it 100%.
Yeah.
But the actor in me has been trained very well to do the job and throw it away. So then I contact a sweet friend of mine in Los Angeles, a young girl, and we do it exactly like this on Zoom, except on a bigger screen in my living room in New York City. And she was very kind, and I knew Muniba the minute I met her. because she's in my blood. I don't know if you know this, but I played 14 South Asian mothers.
Wow. Wow.
I made a
Some
career on
experience.
it. Made a career from it. I've had 19 children. I want you to imagine that. There's a very naughty joke there, but we
There
won't.
is. We'll leave that one to the
We'll keep it
imagination.
kosher. We'll keep it kosher.
Like
So
choking
nine,
here.
yeah. So I always tell myself one more. I'm capping it at 20. Give me your best one. Give me your best one, Hollywood. And I'm capping it at 20. So I knew Muniba from the minute I met her, and I did the audition and I let it go. I want to say this was July or August of 2020.
Wow.
July.
Goodness.
And
Yeah.
2 weeks later, and I forgot about it. Like I have not just trained myself, but I've genuinely come to a point where I just forget about it.
Yeah.
And then two weeks later, my agents wrote and said, there's a lot of interest.
All
Ooh.
And
right.
so then you're like, oh shit. And then I was still like, nope, not going there, not going there. Also, as you know, we were the epicenter of the epicenter. I was just trying to stay alive, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, everyone
and
forgets that New York during lockdown, when we were in Hoboken, we saw the ships coming in with the extra, medical care, and the Hertz across from our apartment was being leased out to transport bodies. It was New
yeah,
York during lockdown during the pandemic was so grim. It was
it
so
was The
awful.
Walking Dead.
Yeah.
It was The Walking
Everything was
Dead.
empty. The streets were
I had a
empty.
yes, I had a similar situation to yours. Yeah, it was very, very bleak. So I was just trying to, and I live, I'm a single woman, so I'm like, you just stay healthy, don't worry about anything
Yeah.
else. And then she wrote that, and then it's a funny story. I had bought these really cheap, not these Apple ones. Again, back to Apple being very good. I had bought cheap iPods from the TJ Maxx because who doesn't go there, right?
Oh,
Yes.
we're all guilty.
We're all guilty. So I'm like, these are terrible, and I'd already ordered my set from Apple. So I'm like, let's go return them, get my $14 back. Uh, so I trundle down the street, and I'm in the TJ. Of course, you can't just return them; you have to look around.
Of
Um,
Yeah.
course.
Double masked and everything because that's all we could do is go to the
Yeah.
park or.
Yeah.
And the phone rang. I was the agent who did the deal, and he said, I'm getting so and so on the phone. So and so is you met him, you talked to him, Don. He's
Mhm.
the president of the company. um, and I'm like, I got it. I just knew in that moment, because why would you get Don on the phone? And
Yeah.
then Don comes on the phone, and they said, you got it. And it was because I knew the impact of the Marvel universe. uh, I was out of body. Like I was looking at ladies' clothes, and they were just, and my agent got his wife who was
Yeah.
screaming celebrations,
Yeah.
and Don, and they were all three talking, and then my agent is giving me the nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
So they hadn't figured out everything, but he's telling me, what all will happen, and I'm just like, I was literally like, and I put down the phone. It was just like a disassociative thing was happening.
I
And
believe
I just
that.
yeah. And a woman behind me said, excuse me, did you just get a really big acting job? And
Yeah.
I said, yes. And she's like, my kids are in the business, so I know how big this is for you. And very sweet, she was.
Yeah.
And I said, thank you. I'm not kidding you guys. I couldn't stand in the line to return it. I just walked home in a daze.
Oh, yeah.
Um, and I sat on my couch. And from my couch, there's a little altar um, of, my Buddhas. I'm very spiritual, so I collect angels. So there's my angels and my Buddha, and I'm Zoroastrian and Persian, my Persian god, all kinds of little, what an altar looks like. And I just looked at the altar, and yeah, I had a few tears, because,
Of course.
like I said, oh, I'm very emotional today because my father's not well. I'm sorry.
No,
Um,
don't worry.
No, no, don't apologize at all.
but I couldn't get a job when I got to New York when I was much more better looking and much younger. I couldn't get a job because I was too fair to be Indian, fair skinned, and I was too not fair skinned enough to be white. And I still had I spoke like this, like a upper middle class Bombay girl, and no one would give me a job, but everybody sexually harassed me because, I was conventionally good looking, and no one who looked like me or sounded like me was on the TV. No one. 20 years ago, no one was there. 10 years ago, it started changing. So the weight of my history
Yeah.
really came to me. I'm so sorry.
No,
No,
don't be
no,
sorry.
no.
Speak your
My
truth.
dad has been really unwell, and I've tried not to cry about that, and so I think I'm crying now, but because I want to keep a happy face for him. Uh,
I'm so sorry. Please
Yeah,
give your
very
dad. We're
sorry.
thinking of your dad. We are so
thank
Definitely.
thinking of your
you,
dad.
thank
I'm
you.
sorry that you're going through that.
My mother was dying throughout Miss Marvel, and I think that really helped me to act better and channeled her through Muniba a lot.
Yeah.
And not, but we'll get to that. But so the weight of the history really came to me. I was like, "You're fucking kidding me!
Yeah.
There's going to be a Muslim American superhero. We're the first South Asian family on TV. We're
Yeah.
Yeah.
the first South Asian family, excuse me, in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
That Kevin Feige and Sana Amanat, who wrote the comics, took this chance. Kevin took this chance. Is a fucking huge deal. Sorry for my French.
No, go,
No.
And
please.
we shifted the needle. And I know we
Yeah.
shifted the needle because you guys won't believe me when I say after Miss Marvel dropped, I spent the next 2 months because it would come out every Wednesday, just answering women and children and husbands and sons who said, my mother has never seen herself represented in 50 years of living in this country. She says, this lady talks like me, this lady sounds like me. Thank you from my ummi. My ummi says thank you. I mean, it was overwhelming. And that's when and I said this to my dad, who's very spiritual as well. And I said, that's when you're not just an actor, you're making an impact in people's life.
Yeah.
Art moves the fucking needle. Let's
Yeah.
give ourselves that credit. We're not just actors. We impact your life. We take you from point A to point B and we give you a better half on your day. That's making a difference in someone's life. And
Yeah.
that's the thing I'm proudest of.
Yeah, it truly is. I mean, and especially something like the Marvel Universe, Paul and myself, we have been fans of the Marvel Universe our entire life. And I think, as queer people, the X-Men have represented the metaphor as other, and that has been so important to us seeing, outcasts band together as a team and make their own way in the world has been something that has impacted me greatly. So I can completely understand, somebody seeing themselves represented on screen for the first time ever being a big deal, and you letting that sink in and understanding that and appreciating it and not feeling burdened by that weight. I mean, that's a special thing. That is a very special skill that you have to bring that to life and not just be like, I'm here for the paycheck, but here understand that you're here representing an entire group of people who has never been represented before. I mean, that's a huge deal, and you so much love for you for understanding the weight of that and the significance.
Thank you.
And
Thank
you are
you.
so talented. On top of all of that
Oh, you're
messaging
so
and
sweet.
everything, just being on screen, it was it was such a pleasure to see that show weekly and
Yes.
tune in and just know. By the
Yeah.
way, it's a family just like all of the families around the world. We come together, we have our complicated relationships, and you conveyed that so beautifully. And it just it boils my blood that you were told 30 years ago that you had to whitewash yourself, that you had to get rid. It is just mind blowing that someone would have the guile to say that. I mean, it's
I
sadly not shocked, but I just cannot believe that people it can look you
well,
straight in the face and say
what
that.
about come around the table and show me your breasts?
Oh,
No,
oh.
that's just
Yeah. So
Wait, do
that's
we have
when
a response
exotic
to that?
arms
We have a response to that.
tell me, baby, tell me. But I just wanted to go back to saying, because you were talking about outcasts,
Yeah,
and in a way, you guys are outcasts because you're
yeah,
also a marginalized group, as you know, and
yeah.
that you have your haters, and we have our haters in this unfortunately in this Marvel universe. There is a certain fan who refuses to see it,
yeah.
Mm,
and mainly white heterosexual males, I think. um, and I really want to say to them, because it's easy to get angry and say, listen, it's a great show and it's your loss and I don't care. We're not excluding you, man. Every day
Correct.
is fucking white man's day, okay? We're not excluding you. All we're saying is include us too,
Yes.
right.
right?
Yes.
As Ruth Bader Ginsburg said, all we ask is you don't sit on our necks.
Yeah.
You let us be part of it. So I say to them, if any of them will ever see this, like, The Marvels is a really fun movie. Miss Marvel is an excellent show. Give it a shot. You have
Yeah.
nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You know, um, just because it has three women leads doesn't make it a bad movie. It's such a fun movie. I who am not, in the Marvel universe, as a nerdy kind of Marvel universe person, really loved it the second time. I think that scene when the three girls fight Darben is the best fight scene I have seen.
It's incredible.
And Nia's and my darling Laura Karpman, who is the music director for both Miss
Yeah.
Marvel and this, whom I adore and has been given a lot of awards, to put Missy Elliott's that rat-a-tat-tat thing to it. Holy crap! I downloaded that song. I'm like, I'm walking to that song. And I was these girls, four of them, kicked butt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you want fights? We got fights. But why? Because Iman is Muslim Canadian and Tiana is a black woman. You have so much resentment. Give it a chance. It's
It's
not even
wild.
2 hours of your life. Yeah,
And it's such a fun movie, to reiterate what you said.
it's so much
There's no,
fun.
and we look at these movies critically, and we try to anticipate how people will react to everything. There is nothing in that movie that would suggest someone is excluded from the conversation. Nope. Everyone is welcome.
Exactly.
We are just having a good time. You have three incredible leads who are just kicking butt,
Yes.
who are characters that are beloved in the comics. By the way,
Yes.
this is not anything new. Carol, Monica, like these are characters that have been around for decades. And Kamala
Yes.
has been one of the breakout stars in the last like
Yes.
decade of being created. So
Absolutely.
I don't know why now all of a sudden is there so much anger towards these characters that have been long loved
Yeah.
in the comics.
It makes no sense.
It's not new. Sorry.
When I was growing up, I mean, in the 1980s, Monica Rambeau was the leader of the Avengers in the
It's
comic
not even,
books.
yeah,
So
exactly. This
that-
is it. Why are we regressing? She's already been the leader of the Avengers.
it's
That's
wild.
very interesting. I didn't
Yeah.
know that. I
Sorry.
didn't know that they were. Yeah, no, that's
Your
very
gay fans
interesting.
are riding now.
That's right, baby. Let's go. It's funny. So obviously, I knew Captain Marvel existed, but that Monica was a leader of the Avengers, and I don't know what it is. Is it like three women are too much, or
Oh no, God
Also, I
forbid.
feel, yeah, God forbid.
Oh gosh.
Also, like,
We have so many. We have
Shouldn't
so many other male actors, but 3 women together. Oh gosh.
right?
Sorry.
Yeah. Also, like art has to reflect the populace. The populace of the
Yes.
United
Yes.
States is not white anymore. It is
No.
also white, but it is many ethnicities. And people have to turn on the TV or go to the movies, put down their hard earned money, and they have the right to see themselves
Yeah.
represented.
Absolutely.
You know, I grew up loving the movies because my mother loved the movies, but who did I love? You know, the women she loved, she would tell me about, you know, like whatever, Ingrid Bergman and Marilyn Monroe and Rita Hayworth. There were, yeah, that was what she watched here. I
Yeah.
mean, she watched Hindi cinema too, but so we have a right to see ourselves as well. And we have a right to be part of the dialogue, the conversation. And even till today, I mean, till today, and I'm literally talking today because I got an audition. It's like, can you do the Persian accent? Or can you do the Indian accent? Or can you do this accent? All the ethnic accents. And I'm thinking, when is Hollywood going to see me just as Zenobia? And
Yeah.
why have I never been offered doctor, lawyer, medical professional? You know, I'm very grateful that I've built a career and I've been able to. But till today, it's still the same. It's still the same.
We're gonna manifest you as a doctor or a lawyer energy right now.
Grey's Anatomy. I've always
Yes.
loved Grey's
Yes.
I'm
Anatomy.
available for Grey's
Let's do
Anatomy.
it. Let's do it.
We're in the same family, ABC, Disney, everything. Yeah.
Just do it. When you were on set, were you anticipating that there could be such a reaction from other certain types of fans out there, especially given everything that Brie Larson went through for making comments that weren't contentious? These weren't contentious
Not at
comments.
all.
All she said was, there is room at the table for other people, for other critics to come and talk about. I believe it was A Wrinkle in Time. So
Mhm.
when you guys were on set, were you aware that no matter what you do, there was going to be that one angry group that were going to say anything?
Brie was simply stating facts.
Yep.
Um, and she got a lot of unnecessary hate for it. I'll take it back to Miss Marvel, where all the kids, so we had, like, there were 6 kids, and then there was me and Mohan, who plays my husband, and we were the only people in our 50s, and everybody else was well under 24 or 25. So they were all super excited. I was the only one who kept saying it when I could, very gently, that, hey, we're going to get some backlash here, okay? We're going to get some backlash here. Nobody was really listening. And then, yeah, we got a lot of backlash. So we were the highest rated show on Rotten Tomatoes, and we were the lowest watched on Disney Plus. How does that compute?
It
You
doesn't.
know, and it doesn't. And then, so by the time the Marvels came, I think at least Sagar and Mohan had had a taste of that. Also, Nia is a amazing, brilliant, sweetheart. She's a black woman, 30 years old, 30 something years old. So it was a completely women led team.
Yeah.
At that time, I didn't so much feel it, but I was like, yeah, it's going to happen again. I just knew it. Nobody talked about it then. I did mention it to a few people um, at Miss Marvel's time. I'm like, just manage your expectations a little bit.
Yeah.
And everybody was like, this bitter old crone. And I'm just like, no, no, no.
I don't know if those are words anyone would use to describe you. A.
No,
Oh,
no,
you see.
no,
But
never.
B, what's so frustrating is that, the story for Miss Marvel, before I turn it back to you, Flink, the story of Miss Marvel in the comics, that has been around for over a decade, and it was well received, and your
Yeah.
show did nothing else but adapt that
Right,
story that has been
right.
already around for 10 years. So it's not like this is a new character, a new show, a character you've never heard of. This is a story and a character that had been around for 10 years at this point. So
Right.
and it was well
Yeah,
received.
I know. It's
It was
blowing your
well
mind. You're like,
received.
what has happened?
No, but
Yeah.
we've never really had a chance to talk about it like this because
Yeah.
it was really well established. It you can disagree with, how it was interpreted or whatever, but like to have that backlash that is just hate, you're like, where did this come from?
Cutting through all of the
It's
noise just for
okay.
a moment, the Marvels does mark the highest opening ever for a female Black director. How proud of Nia are you and this project for that?
Crazy proud. And it's not her first time. While we were shooting the Marvels 2021, summer in London, I was off that day, and I'm scrolling through Twitter, I think, and it says Nia DaCosta makes history as the first Black female director with the domestic box office #1 with Candyman 2, which had
Yeah.
just come out at the time.
And is excellent.
And I
Such a good movie.
and yeah, and actually she'd had a screening there, and I'm terribly phobic about horror, so I didn't go to see it. But I went and just met her before the screening. The rest of the cast went. Um, so it wasn't her first time, and I wrote her right away from my couch in London. I'm like, woohoo, this is the article, you're #1. And she is such a cool customer and such a cool gal. She's like, hey, thanks, didn't know. I'm like, okay.
I love that.
um,
I've seen
and
interviews with her, so I can only imagine that deadpan delivery.
I
So
love her
cool.
so much. And if you're looking or you're listening, Nia, you got to cast me again. Even if it's a cameo, I'm coming on, I'm doing it. I just love her to death. And I want to take a moment to say how much she championed me.
Good. As
Um,
she should.
and Mary, Livanosa, Mary, sorry if I'm saying your last name wrong, our producer on the ground there in London. Um, they really championed me. Nia championed me. Muniba was not written like that on the page. It
Oh,
was much
really?
less, it was much smaller, it was much more Kamala, don't go, da da da. She let me improv. She kept giving me new sides every second day. She gave me more stuff to do with Sam. She championed me from one woman of color to another, and Mary championed me.
Girl power. We love it. We love
Girl
it.
power, yeah. And I know for a fact she did that with everybody. Yeah.
So as she was championing you and she was giving you the rewrites and giving you sides, did you have any input on your growth on the character throughout the movie as it was being developed?
She was always open to any suggestions,
Okay.
always, because also she's young. There's a different sensibility. It's not this hierarchical sensibility
Mm-hmm.
that an
Yeah.
older, whiter director might have. She just like walk in, and there's like 200 extras and a fire going, and she's like, hey, Zenobia, what's up tonight? So listen, today she was just so chill, and she made the set so much fun, and I had so much fun. And so the the line that I say, Maerski John Le Lungi, um, and the yoga scene was not in the script. We improv that completely.
Because you're a
Um,
yogi.
I am a yogi.
Mhm.
And then, so now maybe it's time to tell you of the scene
Yeah.
I was
Tell
really
us.
Oh, yes.
hoping
Give us the
to,
exclusive.
the exclusive, but it's not in the extras. So they obviously, so it's the fight scene in the house.
Yeah.
It end the cons end with, I think, Muniba looking up at Yusuf, and then getting pulled by one of the Kree, and then the girls come in and take over.
Yeah.
But before that, they literally had me stand behind the kitchen counter of the Khan household and talk about literally throwing the kitchen sink. I literally threw roller pins, pots, pans, plates, everything at the Kree, and there was no dialogue. They were like, and I said to Mary, I said, how about I say something to the effect of, and I do say it. So Kamala gets her powers through the maternal lineage, So I said something to the effect of, I am Kamala Khan's mother. She is a superpower. I'm Muniba Khan. I'm Sana's daughter. Sana is Aisha's daughter. We have Noor. We have Bangles. We have power. Get out of my house. Get out of. So I said all that completely improv. And Nia was like, "Cool, go for it." And yeah, it was a really kick-ass scene. I enjoyed doing it tremendously, but it may not have fit into the vision. In the end, you do have to trust what the director's vision is, and maybe they wanted to start focusing on the girls really coming in and kicking ass.
But that sounds like an epic
It
scene,
sounds
though.
incredible.
I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I don't
It
know
was
what to tell you.
epic.
I mean,
It
I'm
was so
sorry.
much fun to do.
Gosh,
It was so much fun. And Nia was like, "You are furious, okay?" And I'm like, "You got it, bitch." And I'm like, not bitch to Nia, but there's
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those. There are people you want to really smack, but you
Yeah.
can't because you're in polite society. And boy, was I doing some method acting. I was like, "This one's for you, bitch."
Yes. Well, before I turn it over to Flink really quickly, can I just ask you? I mean, you have such a great grasp of comedy and comedic timing. And knowing that your character started off smaller in the script and expanded on a day to day, so you had to go a lot of the stuff on the fly. What is your history with comedy?
Yeah, it's a really good question. I have always been the life of the party. I can
Yeah.
I
entertain.
believe that.
I have a very good ear. I'm also extremely antisocial, and by that I mean I don't go for big crowd things. But with
Yeah.
my group, I'm the life of the party.
I can see that.
So
Yes.
I have a very good ear. I can ape and imitate, and I very good with that stuff. But I didn't know that I was funny, and okay, so going back to something hard, which I said a little bit in How to Succeed as an Ethnically Ambiguous Actor, which is a one-woman show that I wrote. I got very sick in my 30s, and I was in bed for a very long time. I won't elaborate. If I ever do How to Succeed as an Ethnically Ambiguous Actor again, you will see it. And It got to a point where it was so absurd. I was like, how the fuck did my life turn out so bad? I had no money, no job. I was very sick. I couldn't even move my head. And it was so absurd that I started writing exotic observations and all the things that had happened to me that had probably led to my having this kind of emotional breakdown. And the worse my life got, the funnier I got. And it just got funnier. It got really bad. And I was like, well, it seems like I'm making people laugh about this shit. And yeah, and that's when it takes time to know who you are. And it was not
Yeah.
till my 40s that I realized, oh, I'm funny.
Yeah.
And then when the Marvels came along, I wasn't trying to be funny, I promise you. And everybody has written how funny you are. I was never trying to be funny, but I think it was the environment. Nia created so much fun environment for
Yeah.
us. Sam, God bless him, was such an amazing guy to work with, and made it so fun for us. And because of the two of them, I guess my funny bone flew. The one thing I wanted to mention is 6 weeks, 5 weeks before the Marvels began, my mother died.
Oh my
I'm
gosh,
Um,
so
I'm so
sorry.
sorry.
Thank you. I was lucky to have her into my 50s. And so I virtually flew from here to London. And so the Marvels became the balm on the wound because I had to do something with the grief. It was a
Yeah.
very complicated grief that I had, and I had to do something with it. And I want to say shout out to Sam Jackson, who really helped me. He doesn't know this. If he ever sees this, he'll know it. Uh, but he kept me laughing and he kept me entertained, and he was the best scene partner I've had. It was just amazing.
Shout out to Sam
And
Jackson for that, for
shout
sure.
out to Sam Jackson, and shout out to Art saving you when you're grief stricken.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what art's supposed to do. And I mean,
Yeah,
humor is the best way of dealing with things and getting your life kind of back on track and not getting bogged down by the sadness. So I'm not
yeah,
surprised to hear that, although you were going through something horrible and traumatic, that you were able to, let your funny side shine for the world to see, because that's the
absolutely.
best way of dealing
Yeah,
with those emotions, I think.
yeah, I, absolutely. Whenever that's happened to me, I'm like, I just throw it all at action. Just throw it, throw the kitchen sink at action. Literally,
Yeah,
Literally right
yeah,
there.
literally throwing the kitchen sink. That's incredible.
But there's that philosophy with humor that the more atrocities you see or experience, the higher your threshold is for humor. Humor can really be a lifeline for people, and
it's a
I'm glad it
lifeline.
manifested in you in the way it has, because my nieces, 8-year-old nieces, were just laughing at you the entire time, like
Oh, that's so
laughing at your
cute.
performance, thought you were so much fun and strong,
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
so it's just I'm sorry, so sorry for everything you've gone through, and I'm glad you were able to channel
No,
it
it's
into
okay.
something
Yeah,
beautiful and talented.
thank you so much.
So transitioning sort of back to your on-screen family for just a moment, how would you describe your chemistry with Iman as a screen partner, as your on-screen daughter?
Excellent, wouldn't you say?
Oh yeah.
Yes, a
Wait,
hundred percent.
is she your favorite out of your 19 on-screen
Out of
children?
my 19 children, they're all my children. I cannot, there's too many actors here, so I'm going to be really careful. Iman is an excellent screen partner. Iman is an excellent scene partner. Iman was brand new. She had a very steep learning curve. She'd never acted. But when it was action, she was very devoted and dedicated. And I think, yeah, I think that we have excellent chemistry.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
it, and it's not something that you can manufacture.
Definitely.
It's just there. We get each other at a level that we don't talk about in real life. Yeah.
That's incredible. I'm glad that you guys were able to forge that kind of bond, because it truly comes across. I mean, just in the little picture behind me, I think y'all's chemistry comes across
Mm.
perfectly, the way
That
you
scene
dote
was
on her
shot a
too.
couple of times. That scene was hard.
I
Yeah.
believe that. I
Yeah.
can believe that. But
Yeah.
just as important as your, chemistry and relationship with Iman, is your relationship with Mohan and Sagar, who of course play your husband and son respectively. I mean, did the Khan clan become close off screen? Did y'all keep in touch between Ms. Marvel and the Marvels? I know there wasn't too much time in between, but that kind of chemistry
Mm.
to me just cannot be faked.
It's not fake. Iman had so many scenes with so many people in both the series and the film. So she wasn't always with us. But all four of us, there was no faking anything because we have such, I've said this in many interviews, and Sagar has said it, and Mohan has said it, and Iman has said it. We have such a deep baseline understanding of each other
Yeah,
because we're all South Asian.
yeah.
Mohan and I have been born in this city and raised here. Iman and Sagar, Canada and America, respectively. But it's in our blood, it's in our DNA, it's in our gene pool. We just know how to do it, and we don't talk about it. It's not
Yeah.
like we're some big discussion about how will Muniba say this and how will Yusuf say that and how will Kamala say that. No, we just do it, and it's organic, and it's all just there. It's
It comes
just there
across.
between
It
us.
it
And
definitely
again,
does
like
not feel
with
fake.
Iman and I, it's not at all. And same with Iman, and just like with Iman and I, we don't. Iman and I never talk about our scenes, but when it's action, we have an understanding. And same with the four of us.
Family is a huge theme of the movie. One of my favorite parts in it is, when Carol shows up and Monica's at your house, and there's your husband says a line, that they don't look like family, and you're just like, immediately Muniba's just like, families are
Families
complicated.
are come.
Families are
Yes.
complicated. It hits, that line hits so real, to me and to Paul, just because found or chosen family. It means a lot to the LGBTQ community, and so just seeing it represented, like Muniba's immediate understanding of the Carol Monica situation and accepting of them as a family. I mean, that was a big moment for me. Just to, you don't, the concept of found family isn't something that gets highlighted too often. So it was very important to me. And,
Yeah.
just how do you think in general the theme of families plays out in the Marvels?
So I think the Khans are a very traditional, close-knit Muslim Pakistani family, immigrant family. I don't think that they have so much this concept of found family and
Yeah.
birth family. Muniba is a traditionalist. She keeps the family. She's the alpha dog, and she keeps the family close. But I think that found family is very much in the Carol and Monica dynamic, isn't it? And
Yeah.
then also the three of them, they become a little family, don't
Yeah,
they?
they do.
They really do. And with that Iman's cute line, we're a team. No, we're not a team. We're not a team. So, you know, um, unfortunately, found family is often kinder to us than born family. And
Yeah.
that's a
Mhm.
reality in the world for many people. Um, and I think the nice juxtaposition is that the Khans are very much a born to each other family. And then the other dynamics between the three girls, between Carol and Monica's history, all that is found family. Yeah. And yeah, I mean, Muniba, I didn't write that line. Somebody brilliantly wrote it for me. But she's a smart woman, even though she's not that educated, and she gets it. She's been in America a long time. She gets the nuances, you know.
Yeah. And she's in
And
Jersey
she's
City. Jersey City
come
is the
on, then.
epicenter. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
So you've mentioned, how much you've enjoyed working with Sam Jackson, and I love your scenes together, and I especially love how Muniba is so polite throughout everything, even though she's so angry. She quickly gets on a first name basis with Nick Fury. She starts calling him Nicholas. Was your approach to that more of affection, or is she calling him Nicholas? Is that more like a mother calling you by your full name when you're in trouble?
No, I mean, Sam's character and Sam are older than Muniba, so it wasn't really maternal. I think that Muniba is a very, again, maybe not educated, but a very classy lady. And she would not say Nick. And at the same time, maybe she was a little pissed that the dude just to come up on this thing. And so it's very fitting for Muniba to say Nicholas, because it's the right amount. And also remember that how much respect and love I have for Sam. So I let him bring what he was bringing, and I was just reacting a lot of the time. Yeah,
Yeah.
that should be mentioned. Yeah, I mean, he's so skilled, and so it just very, very, very organic between us doing that stuff. Yeah,
You
yeah.
felt very organic with everybody. We can all, your charm
Thank
is just so
you,
natural, but we
thank
can't
you.
talk about the Marvels without talking about the Flurkins, of course.
Must we?
We
Yes,
have to, because that
we have
scene
to.
is going to go down in history, not just Marvel cinematic history, but cinematic history as just one of the craziest, most fun scenes ever. What was it like filming that? I mean, were there cats running around, or was it mostly CG?
Yeah, some of it was CG. When it gets into midnight and memories or whatever, it was all CG, I would imagine. I wasn't there. But us running behind them and herding them down the stairs and herding them here and herding them there. There was a couple of cats on the set, quite a few. Yes, there were. They're very cute. I'm allergic, so I just was swatting them with my scarf.
So it wasn't as
But
fun for you as it was for us.
right, but I think I mean I don't know. I would imagine it was CG'd. I mean, how do you have like 25 cats on the screen like that?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
true. It's true.
But they made quite an impact, and a lot of people laughed a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
it's
that.
so much fun. Incredible.
Okay, Queen. I'm sorry. Can I officially address you as Queen now? Queen.
You're so sweet.
Queen. Any talks
Uh,
of a season 2 of Miss Marvel? Please. Is
There's a
there?
lot of Twitterverse around season 2. Yeah, a lot of threads, a lot of asking me the same question. I have not heard anything, but I am hopeful. I'm
Okay.
We are
hopeful.
also hopeful.
We are so hopeful.
Write to Marvel, tag Marvel, tell them you want it. Yeah.
Oh, trust that we do, especially Flink right here. Flink does like every
I've
day.
been writing Marvel since I was 5 years old. I have no
Oh,
plans to
that's so
stop.
sweet. So sweet.
What an honor to speak with you. Is there,
Oh, you're sweet.
where can fans connect with you?
Instagram,
Hmm.
or I do TikTok, but I don't have a lot of following there. So TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, please do.